It was in 2016, and I wrote Opal. Opal was the OC. She and Obi-Wan grew up. I went back and edited this after I saw the Clone Wars because there was so much in the movies that the show, or let me rephrase that, so much in the show that the movies don't cover, like the Creesh and how Jedi are initiated and, you know, all of the meat of the Jedi Order that's not in the movies, I went back and added. But basically, Opal and Obi-Wan grew up together and evaded their feelings, just like Jamie and Rayella did. But Bella loved her. Like, she absolutely loved her. So I was like, you know what? As soon as I'm done writing the prequels, I'm going to go write the original trilogy. So Opal and Obi-Wan get married. It wouldn't work in the actual movies, but Opal and Obi-Wan end up getting married, like Anakin and Padme did. And they have a baby. Her name's Emma. Emma falls in love with Luke. Cue book 2. And I'm in the middle of writing the 3rd book for Emma and Luke's daughter, who is Reyna, who falls in love with Poe, and her best friend is Kix. If you want these, fics, I will gladly give them to you. I need to finish uploading Redemption, which is book 1, onto AO3, but writing that, my favorite part about writing, or my memorable moment was writing those, because I didn't write it for me, I wrote it for Bella, and she loved them. We still talk about them to this day, because I watched the Clone Wars. At the time I wrote Redemption, I didn't watch the Clone Wars, but we just last night, we were just talking about things that I was planning on writing for Opal, because Opal is Ahsoka's Grandmaster, and again, it would make more sense in the context if you read the fics, but writing a whole story just for my best friend's birthday, like, that was probably one of my favorite parts about writing that fic. And then interactions with people who will link my fics and not know that they're my fics. This is my favorite. I am on Twitter, okay? Not a fan of being on Twitter, but I am on Twitter. I found this account of this girl, probably, she was a minor, I think, but she posted, she was an Obi-Wan account, so she caught my attention. She posted, or she said something along the lines of this, I just found a really good Obi-Wan fic that made me cry. And I was like, whose is it? Because I like Obi-Wan fics that make me cry too. And she goes, so I said that, I said, whose is it? Can you link it to me? And she said, yeah, sure. And Pieces of a Real Breaking Heart shows up in the reply. And I'm sitting here thinking to myself, she just linked to me my own fic. I have this saved in my bookmarks on my Twitter because it was just so great to watch. And then I looked at her and I messaged her back and I said, hey, Anais, that's mine. And she, her reaction was priceless. She was like, you're lying. No, I'm not. I just wrote it yesterday. That's mine. And she like practically exploded with embarrassment. It was the best thing I've ever seen. I love interacting with people who love my fics and don't know they're mine. It is so entertaining to me. But those are my memorable moments. Struggles in writing that you now overcome. This is the thing that I have gotten different opinions about. Probably about a month ago, I posted a video after a post I had made about liking fic. I posted a video that very specifically said this: when you write, don't write for you, ignore that. When you write, don't write for your audience, write for you. Had some different people come to me with different perspectives on this, from what it may look like on the outside of a writer, or from the outside of a writer's circle. I get that, okay? It is always good to consider your audience when you write, because you want to make sure that you're not conveying a negative message through whatever you're writing. So in that aspect, I do understand. But what I mean in this one is that if you are writing solely for them, sometimes, depending on the type of person that you are, this was me when I started writing, okay? If you care too much about other people's opinions, it will ruin your look on your fic. You will hate that fic, because then you're sitting here thinking to yourself, this will never be good enough. I'm never going to get the validation that I want. Nobody's going to read it. Fill in the blank, okay? I used to care way too much about what people thought about what I wrote. And as my confidence bolstered and I grew more confident in my ability in writing, I started caring less, and it made the whole experience so much more enjoyable, okay? So writing in itself, yeah, you should consider your audience. You want to make sure that you're presenting a message that doesn't sound negative or You just want to make sure you're conveying the right message to what you write. If you care too much about what your audience thinks, I promise you, it will ruin how you write that fic. And you're not going to like how that fic turns out, even if people tell you that it's the greatest thing they've ever read. Write for you. Please, I'm begging you, seriously. Consider your audience, but don't consider them too much where it ruins your ability. Not just your ability, but your enjoyment in writing. And this is coming from somebody who took a long time to come to that conclusion. Consider your audience, but in the end, you are writing for you, okay? Choose any fictional destination that you've written about to live in. This is so freaking hard, Kara. I don't know why you asked me this question. I've written about so many different places, but honestly, all of my favorite places come back to Naboo. It just, the movies made it so beautiful, and I love that type of environment. So if I had to live in any of the fictional places that I've written for, it would probably be Naboo. I love that type of a setting, especially in the movies. Okay, we're just about done, actually. Let me see what else I have here. Okay, Abby. Abby is one of the people I talk to the most about writing. How do you write long fics? What is plot? How do you get from one point to another? This one I marked as one of my hard questions because I do have a hard time answering this. Most of the fics I write on Tumblr are long. They're not super long, but they're long enough. Some people can't write more than 1,000 words, can't write more than 500. That's fine, okay? Please do not compare yourself to me, okay? I know it's hard, but we all write differently. We all write differently. Do not compare your ability to write based off of the length of a fic, okay? Ethereal, I mentioned Ethereal earlier. It's by Castiel Fic. 700 pages. When I told Abby that initially, she had no idea how I had written 700 pages. But I think the thing of why I've written 700 pages of this fic is because I want to get to the grit, to the meat of a story that Supernatural will never give him. And that goes back to what your favorite thing about writing fics is, the untold story. That's why I write long fics, because you can't just tell a whole story that the movies and the TV shows won't give them in 500 words or less. You can't. And not everybody's going to write OCs, and not everybody's going to write full-fledged fics. You don't have to, okay? But that's why I do it, and that's how I do it. Plot and progressing from one point to another. It's easier to do it for me with OCs because you're not only making your own story with that specific OC, but you're also following the plot of a movie or a show. So progressing throughout the show in this way that the story progresses through the show is easier. But if it's Tumblr fics, my best example of this is the Rex fic I just wrote the other day. A Streak of Color. It's in the Clone Wars master list. Streak of Color basically amounts to this. I was given the prompt. I found a prompt on Twitter from an account that I follow that said something about Rex using painting to de-stress based off of the outfit he wears to Onderon when he goes with Ahsoka and Anakin and Obi-Wan to help Saw Gerrera, whatever. Not my favorite episode, but I did go back and rewatch it for that reason. And it's adorable. He has this like armor. It's not the plastoid armor that the clones normally wear, but he paints jag eyes on the chest, okay? And so I used that example to write a fic where basically Rex, it's post Umbara, Rex needs a way to cope with what happened on Umbara. A lot of clone fics have what they call contraband. And contraband essentially amounts to hobbies. It's their things they use for their hobbies. So music, writing, reading, fill in the blank, whatever. Rex needs a way to cope. His brothers and his SO in the fic that I wrote give him a way to cope by painting. Rex learns he's good at painting. He paints his armor. He goes to Onderon. His SO paints her own armor. And painting becomes an integral part of Rex's character because as Rex gets better at painting, he starts using his ability of painting to paint things he sees that other people don't. So, and my example of that, this is what I mean by progressing with a plot. at the end of the war, in a beautiful world, where the Republic wins the war and the clones are granted their freedom, because that's my canon. Rex moves to Naboo with his wife, who, in this fic I wrote, is pregnant. And so, in the midst of building their cottage in the Lake Country of Naboo, which is where Padme was planning on raising, not Anakin. Padme and Anakin were planning on raising Luke and Leia. He paints his wife, his pregnant wife, standing in a field of wildflowers with a flower crown on her head. I've been in a really flower crown mood lately, so that's why I added the flower crown. But the whole point of Rex learning how to paint was basically for me to tell you that he learned how to paint so that way the people he was painting, whenever he started to paint portraits, saw themselves through his own eyes. And I just loved that concept. So progressing through plot, you're essentially progressing through whatever message you're trying to carry. And for me, that message in that specific fic for Rex was what he sees that the other people don't. And that might be one of the answers that doesn't make a ton of sense. So if it doesn't, leave me an ask or a reply or, whatever, ask, okay? I will answer it, or at least to the best of my ability. Okay, Ariana Lily Black, how do you get over writer's block? This might surprise you. I don't really get writer's block. It happens on occasion. Sometimes I'll get prompts when I open my requests and stuff that I don't have any clue what to do with. And it's very rare for me to deny a request unless I feel like I'm already written similar things to it, or it just doesn't sit well with me, or I just don't feel like I have the ability to write it to the satisfaction of the person who requested it. The way that I often find it easiest to write whenever I'm kind of in a rut is by taking breaks. And as somebody who writes literally every day of her life, taking breaks is hard because then you start losing motivation, and you need motivation to write. I'm not really the person suited to answer this because I don't get writer's block. But if you take breaks, you're a little more relaxed, and then you'll just start, at least for me anyway, after I take breaks, my head's a little clearer. And so I can sit back down at my laptop and look at somebody's prompt and then approach it from a different angle as opposed to someone who's just writing straight on for so ever many days. I don't really have a better answer for that question. We're winding down to the end of this. I think I only have 2 more left. No, my last one is from Camino Obi-Wan. Separating ideas and making it coherent versus letting a fic go out of control. This one is my hardest one of this. Your fics can go out of control. If you need a way to separate your ideas to make sure that you're following, you're progressing in a way that makes sense, bullet points are your lifesaver. For Ethereal specifically, I have a draft of storylines written on my computer in bullet points for the relationships between my OC and different characters, the relationship between my OC and Castiel, what's going to happen in specific episodes of specific seasons, how relationships are going to progress, how the story's going to progress. Outlining can and does work. So for this question, I would highly, highly, highly suggest outlining everything. So that way you know where you're going with your story and you're making sure that it's not veering off somewhere else, which does happen. I think that is it of all of the questions that I have been given, but let me just go back and recap. I'm trying to make each of these videos 20 minutes. Write for you. Consider your audience, but at the end of the day, write for you. Write for the characters you love. Write for your comfort character. Write 500 words. Write 5,000 words. Write for the Bad Batch. Write for, the 501st. Write for your favorite clone. Write for your favorite angel. Write for your favorite character on The Walking Dead. Write for your favorite Avenger. At the end of the day, you are writing for you because you love that character. And I get being attached to fictional characters. I was devastated when Tony Stark died, okay? Absolutely devastated. But by writing for you and writing for your favorite character, it brings you closer to that character, okay? Write for you. Write whatever length fic you want. Tag it. as far as I understand, and I could be wrong on this, so if I am, correct me, Tumblr only gets the first 5 tags that you tag. So for me, and this is what I would suggest, tag it, the first 2, as the character. So character X reader, Commander Fox X reader, Fox X reader, Star Wars Imagines, Star Wars one-shots. There's your your first 4 tags. Castiel X reader, Supernatural Imagines, Supernatural one-shot, Supernatural fanfiction. Tag it. Tag people who you think will read it. Most of the time, I do have time to read fics. If you think I'd like a fic, tag me in it. I will read that sucker so fast. Tag it. Befriend people who write too. Abby and Ren have been so good for me, okay? I don't actually have a lot of writer friends. So for me to have writer friends who I can talk about different things with, share snippets of fics that I'm writing, it is so good to have writer friends to get different perspectives on stuff, okay? If you have the ability, befriend writers. Talk to me. I love talking to people on Tumblr because people on Tumblr are nice and they want to talk to you about anything, okay? Talk to me. I promise I'll talk back. Unless I'm at work or I'm preoccupied with another engagement, I will answer you. I'm on my phone all the time. Write for you. Write whatever length you want. Tag your fics. Make a master list if you have a lot of fics. And if you don't know how to do that, I will gladly teach you because it's a lot easier for people to read your stuff if it's all together. Befriend other writers. And at the end of the day, guys, do what you love. I really can't put it any more simply than that. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to do this because I really, really enjoyed it. And I apparently am a lot more clear-headed today than I've been in the last 3 days of me trying to record this. So thank you for listening. And again, if you have any writer friends that you want people to read more of their stuff of, drop their ats in the replies or drop me an ask or a message, whatever. If you have fics you love that you think I would like or you think other people who will watch this will like, drop it. I want to see it. I think I got everything. So I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day. And again, for all 915 of you, I am so thankful to be able to share the things that we all love with you. Have a great afternoon, evening, morning, whatever time zone you're in.